Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over to Germany once again, and we're going to return to a brewery with whom I had a really positive experience in the past. So we're going to do my second review from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, who are one of these numerous German gypsy breweries that are popping up just now and brewing the American styles of beer. And we're going to have a little look at one that was highly recommended to me by my friend Peter over at the Clueless Drinkers. So this one is the Amarsi. It's a double IPA and it comes in at 8.1%, so it should be a really nice beer. Peter rated this one really highly and was telling me this is one that I really need to try. I was lucky enough to meet up with Peter over in Regensburg in Germany, which was really nice, a very nice chap, and I'm actually quite jealous of him that he gets to review all of these kind of new wave German beers that are coming out, because it's a very interesting time over there with all these kind of new breweries popping up that are brewing the American styles of beer, and it is kind of just interesting to see how that kind of traditional German brewing culture that you have combines with these sort of new wave American styles. So very exciting times over there, like I was saying. But this one should be a really nice beer, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on it. I'm really quite excited to try this actually. So anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller before. Hopefully I can review a few more of their beers in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the German beers that I've reviewed for you, and that's constantly being added to, and please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys, and the support that you give the channel is hugely appreciated. And if you are particularly interested in the kind of new wave German craft beers, or even just German traditional beer, do make sure you check out my friend Peter over at the Clueless Drinker. He's got some really nice videos over there. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Himburgs BrauKunstKeller then. So this company is a German gypsy brewery, as I've mentioned to you before, and it was founded by Alexander Himburg. So he's a native of Berlin and studied biology in Ulm, and then later went on a brewing and malting course. So they originally brewed their beers in Michelstadt in Germany, which is really close to Darmstadt, Würzburg and also Heidelberg, in an area that's known as the Odenwald. So the Odenwald actually straddles Baden-Württemberg, Bavaria and Hesse, but Michelstadt itself is in the state of Hesse. So Alex originally had a company that was just called BrauKunstKeller, but this company filed for bankruptcy in late January of 2016. But the original company had actually been a joint venture with the Michelstadter Brauerei, and now Alex is separated from them and has just started up his own company, which is of course called Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, and he now has an agreement with the Hofmark Brauerei in Loifling, which is in the really kind of northeastern corner of Bavaria, close to the Czech border, and it's there that he's brewing all of these beers. And these guys focus primarily on the American styles of beer. So they do have the Bavaria, which was a lager beer. You saw me review that before. They have this one here, which is the Amarsi, a double IPA. There's been two versions of this actually. There was a 7.2% or 7.1%, and they've just kind of upgraded it and built it up to make it into a proper double IPA. They also have the Mandarina, which is an IPA, the Laguna, which is another IPA, and also the regular pale ale as well. And all the bottles are quite similar in appearance. It's just different colours depending on which one it is you go for. But they are only producing the 5 at the moment, but I'm sure they will start to produce some more different ones in the near future. But like I said, this was a beer that Peter recommended to me and said was really quite good, so I'm very interested to try this one. I'll put the link to his review of this one actually in the description below for you to check out as well. So just to tell you a little bit about this beer before we crack it open then, as I mentioned, this one's an 8.1% double IPA. It's hot with Amarillo and Simcoe, and the malt base in this one is Pilsner, Munich and caramel malt. So it should be a really quite good beer. I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork of this before we open it up. Here you can see, quite nicely presented, very similar in style actually to the other ones like I was saying that you'll find from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller. There you can see, here's the Himburg artwork at the top here, and of course you've got this nice little thing with just the hop flower on at the top of the bottle as well. But I really like how these ones are presented. In a way it's kind of a kind of classic traditional German style thing, but it's also got a little bit of that kind of modern minimalism to it as well. But this one is best before the 20th of February 2018. So yeah, it should be a really quite nice beer. Like I said, 8.1%, and without further ado, let's get it open and we'll get on with the tasting then. Nice smoky opening there, and you can smell some of that nice kind of juicy fruit. There's quite a bit of orange and sort of passion fruit and maybe mangoes coming out of this one actually as we open it up. It was Amarillo and Simcoe. that was in this one. And normally you would expect some oranges from that and some passion fruit, but the mango notes, really, there's something you'd associate a little bit more with the Citra hop actually, which is quite interesting. But there you can see that's poured a really nice kind of dark, if I hold that up to the light, there's actually almost a kind of copper colour. It's got a nice kind of blood orange, very slightly copper colour to it actually. If I hold it right up to the light there, or bring it up to the camera, you can see that nice kind of rich, almost blood orange colour to it. That's a really quite nice looking beer. Normally you won't see an IPA in Europe that's quite as clear as that these days, so it's quite an interesting one. There's a solid finger of a frothy head on this one. I'd say it's a kind of creamy colour, this one. It's not a perfect white, it's definitely more of a kind of creamy colour that's coming off this. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head there. If I put my fingers behind the glass there, you can see, you can just get an idea of the clarity that this beer actually has. But a really nice looking one. And yeah, so let's take a closer look at the aroma then and see how we get on. As I always say, the aroma is half the experience when it comes to craft beer and whiskies and sakes and things like this. But that smells really quite nice. The first thing you're going to notice about this is that there is a good bit of malt in there, and that is what you expect when it comes to a double IPA. So you can smell this nice rich kind of boozy caramel in there. There's a little bit of a lighter almost toffee note, some kind of biscuit as well. But you can definitely smell a little bit of that bready character, that characteristic breadiness that you expect from the Munich malts. I love the nice bready character that you get out of those. As I've always told you, one of my favourite German styles of beer is the Helles, and I think Peter feels the same. He always loves a good Helles, and we both kind of really just appreciate that lovely bready character that you get from these Munich malts. And it is, like I've said a couple of times in the video now, it is cool to see this kind of German traditional brewing style mixing with these American beer styles that are coming out now. So it's a very exciting time in Germany. I'm very jealous of Peter actually for where he is at the moment actually with all of these kind of beers. They're right on his doorstep, but it smells really nice. On the hoppy side of things, you can smell just, there's a wee teeny bit of earthiness coming out of this one, but there's quite a spicy floral aromatic character, some lighter grassy notes as well. But on the fruity side of things, for me, it really is leaning more towards the orange, which of course is the Amarillo. There's a wee bit of tropical fruit in there. Yeah, a wee bit of tropical fruit, I would say. It's a kind of, there's a bit of passion fruit and a little bit of mango. I think those are the two notes that are coming out of this one. I'm just surprised there's mango in there when you consider that it's Simcoe. I always associate mango with Citra more than anything else. But there's almost a little bit of a, there's this really unusual, slightly lemongrassy note coming out of this beer, which is quite interesting as well. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you actually get stuck into it. And it is a good way to teach yourself about different hops and things as well. But this one should be really quite nice. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this. I think it's fair to say that the aroma on this one does lean a little bit towards the malty side, and it's the orange for me that kind of jumps out just with a little bit of that tropical fruit. But let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Amarsi, a double IPA from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, one of the gypsy breweries over in Bavaria in Germany. Prost. I have to say, that's pretty nice actually. It's got an interesting kind of mouthfeel, and it's interesting to see how all these flavours kind of go together so well. I mean, you'll taste this beer and you'll definitely get that whole kind of double IPA quality to it. But the German malts that are used in this, which will be the Pilsner of course, there'll be the Pilsner and the Munich malts, it's just really nice. Because you don't get Munich malts used in a double IPA, and it just gives the malt base that extra bit of smoothness and kind of thickness. So it's just, to me, this beer is really good, but just compared to what you're actually used to normally, it's quite unusual. Yeah, if you get the chance to try this beer, I recommend that you do. As a beer reviewer, you always want things that are going to test your palate a little bit and have little kind of quirks to them like this, and that Munich malt mixing with these American hops it's really quite unusual for me, and I do like how it comes across. Give this beer a go, honestly, if you get the chance. I just like how everything goes together. So yeah, as I always say with the beer, sugar it around your palate a little bit before you actually start analysing the flavour too much. But this is really interesting. So in the middle of the palate where all the malty characters come out, as you would expect, you can feel this little bit of the lighter kind of pale character from the Pilsner malt, but on top of that you've got this big white bready character, which is the straight up Munich malt. It's just really smooth, and it just gives the beer this really nice kind of big bready backbone. In the middle of the palate you can feel a little bit of that kind of caramel character, and it covers the alcohol really well, but there is an element of booziness to this beer. I would say 8.1%. It's not the heaviest double IPA you're going to come across. It's actually on the lighter side of things, Norm, than compared to some of the ones I've had. But it does do the thing really well, and maybe you need a lot more caramel malt to kind of cover the booze if you go higher in the alcohol. But with this one, they've got it balanced quite nicely with that big bready character. But I do like how that comes across. It's a really good beer, this, and I mean, it does have that, as I've commented on German beer quite often, as being really, really smooth, and it's got this beer has the American flavour to it, with a bit of the German malt base, admittedly, but it's got that typical German smoothness with this kind of lovely American hop quality. And I think I said the same about the lager beer that I had from them before as well. That had Simcoe, and I can't remember what the other hop in that was. It might have been Amarillo as well, right enough. Or it may have been Simcoe and Citra, actually, that was in it. But this is really, really nice. Try this beer if you get the chance. On the hoppy side of this beer then, it's got a nice kind of, you can feel a little bit of that spicy floral aromatic character. In the back corners of the palate, it's a tiny, tiny little bit earthy. As you come further forward, you can just feel that floral aromatic character coming out a little bit more, and it's a wee bit more spicy. As you go round the very front curve of the tongue, it's a little bit lighter and grassier, and I like how that comes across. If I was tasting this blind, actually, the wee bit of earthiness might make me think that perhaps they've used a little bit of the of one of the German noble hops. It's a bittering hop, but I think they have used purely American hops in this one. But it is nice. So, as I always mention to you, the fruity character in the beer comes out in that little oily bubble behind the very front curve of the palate. For me, you can feel a little bit of the passion fruit just kind of forming the base of this beer. You can just feel that you can feel it just rolling out as that little oily bubble progresses. As you move a little bit further into the taste, it's the oranges from the Amarillo coming out, that kind of strong, juicy orange. I'm not really getting mangoes or anything like that. They did say on their website there would be a little bit of mango comes out in the flavour. But for me, it's passion fruit and oranges that are coming out of this. It's the kind of characteristic fruits that you expect from the Amarillo and the Simcoe. But it's a really, really nice beer. I just like how everything goes together in this one. But you can tell with this, as I said with the lager beer, that it's really well crafted, and I can see why Peter was saying that this is one that I need to try, because it has the American hop flavour to it, but it's just got that nice kind of almost, it's got the booziness and a little bit of the caramel that you expect from the double IPA, but it also has that kind of bready malt base that you expect of a Helles, and that's probably why he liked it so much, I suspect, is because he really enjoys the Helles. I really enjoy the German Helles beer as well, and this one, it's a double IPA with just a little bit of that kind of German Helles quality to it in the malt base, so I can see why he likes it, and that's probably why I'm quite enjoying it as well. So a really quite interesting and quirky beer. As I always say, as a beer reviewer, you want things that are a little bit kind of unusual like this, so if it sounds like it hits the spot for you, I'm sure it will. It's a well-crafted beer. If you like an American double IPA but with a little bit more breadiness, or you enjoy the German Helles style, this one in some ways, I suspect, is a little bit of a kind of hybrid, just because of those lovely Munich malts that they've used in this, but a really, really good beer. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one then, I would say it's mid-bodied. Yeah, mid-bodied. The carbonation on this one is really quite smooth. More of an oily mouthfeel than anything else, I would say, mainly because of the booziness of the beer and the kind of the way the caramel malts come out. There is a little bit of hoppy bitterness. It's not going to blow your head in terms of IBUs. It's not got the the biggest hoppy bitterness that you're going to come across. The fruits are nice and juicy, and there's also a little bit of that malty sweetness, but like I said, it's kind of dominated by the smooth character from the Munich malts as well. But overall, it's a really quite nice and well crafted beer. I think the best way to describe this is the American hop flavours with a little bit of the caramel malt, but a lovely kind of typical German Helles smoothness in the malt base as well. But a really solid beer. And I'm really interested I'll be really interested actually to try this one on tap at some point in the future. So hopefully I can do that, and I can see why Peter recommended this one to me. So yeah, I think that's a good way to sum up this review. So if you have tried this one for yourself, please let me know your own thoughts on it in the comment section below, and do let me know what your favourite beers are from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller as well. Do have a look at Peter's review as well if you want a second opinion. He reviews, I don't know how many beers he's reviewed from this brewery, but I know that he definitely has reviewed this one, and he probably will do others in the future, as will I. But thank you once again for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Do check out my social media, and like I said, if you're particularly interested in German beers, do make sure you go and check out my friend Peter over at the Clueless Drinker. But this one was the Amarsi from Himburgs BrauKunstKeller, one of the many new gypsy breweries that are going around in Germany. A really interesting double IPA with a lot of that American quality that you expect, but with a lovely kind of almost German Helles-like bready malt base to it. So until the next time, slange just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Prost.